Hey everybody, I'm KK.
I'm Kristen.
Together we are
KK Crochet.
Alright, welcome back. Take 2, trying to do this video. This is about Etsy. There's no shade on any Etsy designer. I think all designers are fabulous. I am not naming the designer. It is not on the designer, it's on me. But this is just a heads up to pay attention. Okay? I told you guys that there was a Grafgan pattern that I had purchased off of Etsy. You know, I love Grafgans. I love C2C. Probably my favorite thing to make at the moment. So, I told you there was one I had bought to do for a donation for next year. And I haven't started it. I've made a promise to several of you and to Kristen and to my family that I won't start any blankets until January 1. It may be a little bit before then. Yes, it might. Listen,
I will take your crochet hooks.
No, you won't either. I'll find more. I'll order more. From Christmas to New Year's, there's lots of time in there that I could be getting some stuff done. But I am working on some other projects, so I might do those instead. So, preparing for YouTube. Anyway, so I haven't started a new blanket yet. But I did go back and look at it because we were talking about it one night. And Kristen said, "What are you doing?" And because she said, "You haven't told me what it is." And I said, "Okay." So I pulled it out. I was going to show her and my husband. I thought they would really appreciate, the pattern. So I looked at it and I pulled it up I was just going to show them a picture, and I went, "Huh?" Okay. So there are letters in the pattern. And generally in C2C, it's a block method. I think that's why I like it so much. I grew up doing the pixelated art, when we did computer science. That's how we were programming the pixels to come, and you do it and they show up on the screen and kind of, fade in. So I think that's why I love C2C, because it's the pixelated art. But this one has letters, and it has the letter I in it. And the letter I, when you look at it, if you go to like the base of my fingers, looks like this. See if you can.
Look from here down.
Yeah, it looks like that. So it's a jag, like a step down. Looks like 2 steps. And I thought, okay, considering the way the pattern is designed and the way the letters are laid out, I can kind of understand why that happened. Because of the way C2C works, you can't, it's hard to get a straight line. But it's a letter. And a jagged letter to me like that it's not what I want. So I thought, okay, I'll try to figure it out. And I looked again, and there's a picture. There's several pictures in the Grafgan. And I looked at one of the pictures and what it's supposed to be. And the whole picture does this kind of thing. And it's supposed to be a straight line to make the edges of the object. And I realize, I think that they were trying to slant things on the Grafgan so that it looked a certain way. It doesn't work because you have this jagged line that's supposed to be a straight line object. So it kind of looks like you were trying to print something off and your printer messed up and it pulled it or something, and you have these wavy lines. Or like the vertical lines we used to get, or not, horizontal lines you get on a TV when it was messed up, and you get this wavy picture. That's kind of what the whole thing looks like. There are some parts of this pattern that I think are genius in some ways, that they just make some things look really beautiful. And so I think what I'm going to do, I'm not even sure they'll look like that when they're worked up that way. I don't think it's an AI pattern. I looked. It is a pattern that was released from another country. So I'm not even sure. I haven't looked at the language. I'm not even sure. I think it said it was in English, but also it is a mini C2C, which is half double crochet. And you all know I'm not doing that. I can't stand it. I can't stand to do a C2C and half double. My hands can't take it. My brain can't take it. I don't like the way it's a little squished square. I don't like the graphic design of that. So even if I took this pattern, I can work with that. I can remove some like squish it in some, take from the top and the bottom and all that kind of stuff, and kind of push it together and use a double crochet, and it wouldn't be quite as big, but it is huge. It would be a massive blanket, and that's not what I'm wanting for what I'm doing. There are elements of the design that I really love. There are elements of the design that don't work for what I want, and aesthetically it's not pleasing to me. Does that mean the design is wrong? Nope. That's a me problem. Just like, we say all the time, if somebody has a problem with you, it's a you problem, unless you've actually done something, to them. But I do not throw shade at other designers, other creators. It's not what I do. So I always tell you that I have a problem with the design. It's a me thing. The pattern was $5 when I looked it up today. I think I gave like $3 something for it. So, it's not like it was, a hugely expensive pattern. But $3 is $3, and if you do that enough times, it becomes a lot. I'm saying all this to say, look at your patterns before you buy it. Look at where it was originated from. Make sure it's not an AI created pattern. Look at the reviews for this person. And I went back and looked at the reviews for mine, and the reviews were good. It was 4.5. So maybe it's a me thing. But when I do a Graphghan, I don't want something that is... I do a Graphghan because it's beautiful, and the pixelation makes it show up beautiful. But you see a complete picture. You don't see the pixelization. I don't want to see that in the stuff I'm making. If I wanted to see that, then I would do that. I do these because it doesn't show that. So I think I'm going to take basics from this pattern and pull from other resources and put them together and create my own. And I don't say my own as in I own it. I'm going to create something of my own to make for me to donate. Yeah. I think I'm going to I'm going to use the basic, some of the basic stuff that, like color combinations and the way it's laid out. But for the graphic part of it, I'm going to have to pull from somewhere else because it does not work. So that's just to say, be careful. Be careful what you do. Be careful where you're spending your money. Check the ratings. Check who it is. You can go through the pattern and look and see who the designer is. Now on mine, it was odd. There was a shop with a name, and that's what it was attributed to. But when you clicked on the shop, then it went down and it gave you an owner. And I guess that's not odd. I guess that's normal. Again, I don't do a lot of Etsy. But it had a shop name that looked like that was the creator name. But then when you went farther down, you could find a creator name. Just be careful. Just be careful what you do. Make sure it's something for you. Blow it up and look at it really good and make sure it looks like what you want. And, check on it. Have you had that problem?
No, really, I don't think so.
Do you use Etsy a lot?
No. I'm more of a YouTube tutorial kind of person.
She's a YouTube girl. Imagine that. All right. So now back to our trivia, our Christmas trivia. Let's see. Ooh. When and where were the first Christmas cards sold? That's an interesting one. I don't think we'll answer that one today. We'll let you guys think on it and try to research it and figure out what you can find out.
Yeah, because I genuinely have no idea.
When and where were the first Christmas cards sold? That's a very good question. I like that a lot. Okay. So, let's go find your Kindness Advent of the Day. Da-da-da. Kindness Advent of the Day. Pass on a book that you've already read.
That's a good one.
Reuse, recycle, right? Pass on a book you've already read. And we've talked about the blessing boxes before. And one of you have said that you have like a mini library in your area, like a little box on the corner somewhere. That's what I'm thinking. That's what you mean, because that's what we have. There is a library box in one of our communities, and you can take a book that you don't want any longer, and you can put it in there, and you can take something else out if you want, and pass on the books. I love that idea. I think that is so nice to be able to share what you have with others, and Kristen, I know, would love that idea. Mm-hmm. Not that she's an avid reader or anything.
No, I don't read. Oh, I know you wouldn't like it either.
But anyway, that is our Christmas kindness advent for today and our Christmas trivia. Where and when were the first Christmas cards sold? And a little bit of tip for Etsy about how to make sure that you are getting what you really want. And then if you still don't know, send them a question. Ask them a question. Don't do that a lot because I do think that they get dinged on Etsy if they don't respond right away. So don't send, basic questions about things that you probably, if you read through the reviews, could find out anyway. But if you have a legit question, maybe you can go through there and try to find out if they have an email that you could send to instead of Etsy. And because a lot of times it says, if you have questions, you can email me here. And that way you could not get their shop in trouble because of questions that you have. But you could ask them, hey, is it whatever. I wish I had known what stitch it was before I bought. I'm not sure they will tell you all that information because it is their private design, and it could, the right people could figure out what they're doing with that. So anyway, don't forget to be kind because
you don't know anybody else's journey.
And be kind to Etsy people too because they're all people and they work hard. So be nice. Love you. Bye.
Bye.